Welcome back. This time I am going to put my background in first. So I've drawn quite lightly in pencil where I want my main 3 roses and a bud here and a bud here. But I don't know what I'm going to put in the background. I'm just going to decide as I go. So I'm going to start off with this nice wet and wet start with my golden leaf brush, and I'm just going to brush the whole background. So it's all going to be pretty wet. So I'm not stippling this time. I'm scrabbling about with it. Inevitably, hairs will sometimes come off onto the page. And then I'm going to start by just dropping in where my roses are going to be. So because it's a nice wet and wet start, this is going to be nice and open. I can come back now with my stippling brush, make sure it's nice and clean. If I wanted that to be even more diffused, I could use my stippling brush to soften it. Now I do want some light bits. I want some light to catch these flowers, so yeah, I'm quite happy with that. I'm going to have a bud there. So remember, these are going to be the in focus ones, and yeah, I like that. Now, where am I going to put the background ones? I think I might put maybe a couple of little rose buds here, and might even imply sort of something behind here, another flower here. If it starts to dry, don't panic. Just use your Deerfoot Stippler, just soften that. Because it's drying all the time. The moment you start to put the paint on, it's starting to dry. I don't want lots of white paper left, so I'm just going to position where my leaves are going to be. They don't have to be leaf shapes at this point. I'm just positioning where I want them. And I'm thinking about backgrounds. So I'm going to have something here. Now it's started to dry, and this is when this smaller Deerfoot Stippler is so good, because I'm just going to dampen this little bit, and it doesn't put on too much water, so that's ideal. So I've got little bits of white being left, which is perfect. I'm going to have maybe, let's have some leaves here. These are going to be very subtle. You're only just going to notice these really by the time we've finished. Let's have one here. Remember, the dark leaves are going to come on the top of this. I'm just going to add a little bit of midnight green, so we're going to have some darker dilute leaves, and I'm going to put them here. Just put a leaf in here, maybe another one here, and we can add to these later if we choose to. I'm going to put something here. So these are very much our out of focus background leaves, so we don't want too much detail, we just want to imply that's where they are. Okay, I like this. I quite like the way that this is getting a drying line, because this is going to kind of emphasize where the rose is. So then I'm going to go back to my pink, my lovely wild rose, and this is taking a bit of a risk now because I'm going to work on the damp surface, and I'm not really sure. Thank you, Maggie. That's my little dog, she's just settling down. I'm not really sure how this is going to look. I'll only know when I put it on, and I'll be able to adapt to it. So if you add a little bit of colour and it's harder than you'd wish, you can then just adapt it like this with the Deerfoot Stippler. And this is why a smaller version of this brush is so useful. It has the same hair type as the golden leaf brush. Okay. I like this. This is going to be in full light, and I do like the idea that there is a little bit of light here. I like the idea that this is almost now, if I was to move this, see, I'm moulding with this brush. So I've lightened that, so I'm implying actually that's a half open flower, and I'm going to do the same here. So I can create this underpainting, an effect. I can create an illusion, really. It's just creating that first underpainting. I feel like I need a little bit of pink here, just a hint of pink as if there's something in the background there. I like this drying line. I like it when you get happy little accidents like that. Okay, so that is my wet in wet start. I've got some background roses put in, some background leaf shapes implied. And then when this is completely dry, I'm going to paint the leaves and the roses on the top. So it's a great easy start.